Well, hi, and welcome to this 30X coaching session live online. Trish, are you excited or nervous about this coaching session?
A little bit of both. I'm really excited. I've been looking forward to this.
Look, it's great. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm not sure it'll be fun for you because we'll be delving into your business, but it'll be fun for
I'm
me
sure.
and most of the listeners and people watching us. So tell everyone a little bit more about your background and your business.
I'm a franchise consultant, and I found out when I was talking with people about a franchise that a lot of times at the end they decide that not to go ahead and do it, and I think a lot of that is due to fear. So I took a couple years off and wrote a book called Franchising Without Fear, and I'm looking to capitalize on that as a way to help get some people into franchising.
So as a franchise consultant, so most people understand your business, you basically work on commission selling franchises for organizations such as mine, ActionCOACH, many other companies out there that sell franchises.
Right, exactly.
Right. Now you're part of a larger organization, obviously, and traditionally you buy leads from them and then you convert them into people buying franchises. That's basically the way the system works.
Right, or I can buy leads from lead portals, which are internet portals.
Got it. Or you can write a book with the goal of creating your own leads so that way people connect with you and that sort of thing. Okay, got it. Very, very simple. Now, so let's go back to being a great franchise consultant. It's obviously very much a sales role, but it's a consultative selling role.
Right.
Take me through, because you're a teacher in a previous life. What made you decide to get into franchise sales or franchise consulting?
Well, I've always been a very advocate for business. I taught business because I had some small businesses before I became a high school teacher. And I've just a good path for people to do what they want to do and find the wealth that they're looking for in more ways than just money, but also happiness. So when I really answered an ad for this franchise consultant, and I thought this is a great thing because I can help give people information, which is what I do, and also help people find a business that's a good fit for them.
Okay. So let's go back to the basics of this. When you look at the sales process, where in the sales process are you best and where in the sales process are you worst?
Well, I don't consider myself a tough salesperson, like a go-getter kind of person. I consider myself more of a consultant, as in a coach or someone that helps other people find their way. And I think a lot of it is my follow-up maybe would be one of the places where I have a downfall.
So in this type of a business where you're dealing with literally hundreds of leads to get a singular person who's actually ready, because one of the things I always look at in the psychology of selling is I try and get into the mind of the consumer. And the mind of the consumer in a franchise scenario is, in the vast majority of times, I'd like to have my own business. I think it'd be nice to have my own business. I reckon I'd be good at having my own business, but I'm not sure I'm going to. So that's always the challenge. So if you look at in your scenario of dealing with these people that come through, what is it about owning a business that you believe, well, let's go back a couple of steps.
Okay.
When you take those leads on and you connect, what's your connectivity rate to those leads?
Well, as in how many people answer the phone, or?
Yeah, like if you've got 100 leads, how many would you get to speak with?
Probably 30.
Okay, so 30%. Okay, what methodologies are you using to connect with those leads? Just the phone, or do you use email, or do you use social media, or do you use texting? What's the methodologies?
Phone, email, social media, texting.
Okay, so you're using all 4 of those.
I am.
Okay. And are you asking them to set an appointment to chat with you, or are you asking them to look at more information? What are you doing on that first connectivity?
The first connectivity is just trying to get to know them a little bit and find out what their motivations are.
So is that mostly by phone though? Is it like, I want to take a phone meeting with you, or I want to take what's that first thing?
Well, it's by phone is preferable.
Okay. So if you're texting me, what would the text message read when you're texting me?
This is Trish Benedik. You asked for information on franchising. I'd like to be able to answer your questions and set up a phone call. Here's my number, or please text me back with the time that you could be reached. I might also add my calendar where they can schedule a call time.
Okay. So I'm going to flip that around. I'm going to flip that around for you and make it a little more exciting for them.
Okay.
Something along the lines of, hey, it's Trish. I'm the author of the Franchising Without Fear. I'd love to send you a copy. Let's make a time to chat first so I can get you a copy of the book, and we can help you find the greatest franchise for you so you can make all your business dreams come true.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I know. Luckily, I'm recording this and you get to rewrite it.
I hope you're recording it.
See, the thing is, when you got to remember, they're a little excited. They've clicked that button online. They're a little excited right there.
Right.
Now, the faster you get to them, there's a dissipating law in sales. The longer it takes to get to them, the faster that stuff has worn off. Like that energy, that excitement wears off real fast. So you got to make sure that you get to them as fast as you possibly can, and then that'll do it. So that absolutely have a link to where they can book into your diary. Absolutely have a photograph of the book or something like that you can send them, a photograph of yourself, that sort of thing. It always helps to connect with a real live human. Right. Even a little bit of your background in a second text or a third text saying, hey, I've been working as a franchise consultant for X number of years. I've been helping people buy businesses for this long. And I'd really, if you want someone to work with you and hold your hand through it. So how many texts would you send someone to get them excited with what you're doing?
Well, I usually it depends on if I get a hold of them. So if I don't get a hold of them, I usually send a text, and they always get an email, and then it's just a process. And then I'll send
how many texts. How many texts would you send?
Probably 3.
Okay. Keep going until they tell you to stop.
Okay.
Okay. Because see, I know I inquire about stuff all the time. You're probably the same as me. You inquire about stuff, and when they're texting you, it's like, oh shoot, I'll get back to them on that. Oh shoot, I'll get back to them on that, and you just forget.
Right.
Okay. And I know sometimes you'll read the text and you'll be going into a movie and you go, oh, I'll reply when I get out. And by the time you get out, you've forgotten all about it because one of your kids called you. And so keep following up with people. Don't slow that off. Just keep following up with them and make certain of it. When they're on your email list, do they go onto a newsletter type thing, a drip newsletter where you keep them in touch with what's going on in franchising, the latest franchise news or the latest business news, that sort of thing?
I have a newsletter I send usually every month. It's it's not real long. I just usually add a couple articles, some basic information about franchising, just to try to let them know I'm still here.
Great. And if I was to read that, would it be exciting for me to jump on the phone with you after reading that? Or would I be like, oh yeah?
Probably, oh yeah.
Okay. So how do you spin that and make it exciting? It's got to be success stories. That's what it's got to be about, success, or even articles about why now is the exact right time to start your own business.
Right.
So if you look at your marketing, and your marketing is, and this, I hate to say this, but the problem of teachers, and I've come across this multiple times where I've got people who've been in a teaching profession and their marketing becomes about informing people rather than exciting people.
Okay.
So if you can flip that and start saying, okay, is this exciting to people? No, it's not. Okay, don't send it out then. Is this going to get them to want to pick up the phone today and call me today? No? Okay, don't do it then. And so those are the sorts of things. It's like the voicemail you leave when you call someone. and they've called about asking for information about franchising. So here's the question. Are they asking for information about franchising, or are they looking to make a life-changing decision?
Usually they have clicked on some portal and they basically just want information a lot of times.
Okay.
I mean, I found that maybe 6 out of 100 are really qualified and really ready to go. I mean,
yep, that's probably going to be the numbers, and about another 30 of them are going to be ready to go in 6 months or 12 months or somewhere along the line. And the rest were, maybe in 10 years I'll do something type thing. That's sort of where it is. And that's why you keep them on a drip feed, but you keep it exciting. You keep it, because the vast majority of people, if you get into the psyche of the person buying from you, Trish, the person buying from you is making a life-changing decision. They're moving from employee to employer.
Right.
That is the biggest sell. And this is why the vast majority of people looking at franchising never buy. It's not that they don't want the yogurt shop, or that they don't want the gym, or that they don't want to do whatever the franchise you've put in front of them is. It's that they're too scared to own their own business.
Right.
And so the biggest sell for a franchise consultant, in my opinion, is selling someone on actually owning their own business.
Right. So how do we make it exciting?
Well, I know some people that have written.
Exciting to me, it's exciting, but
yeah, and it is, and it's exciting to them. But here's the thing: which one wins, fear or excitement? In most cases, the fear wins. So what your job is to really make sure that excitement beats fear, and that's the job of sales in franchising. Okay. So let's flip it over for a little bit and start looking at the lead generation for doing it yourself, and using the book as a methodology of lead generating for you, and how you actually have people looking to get into franchising. Now, the challenge is that the word franchise on Google ads, Facebook ads is there's a lot of money being spent on that. And I doubt that you're going to want to spend that much money to be buying leads off of those sorts of things. So what you've got to do is actually create that. So if I was to look at your website, the Trish Benedik franchise consultant website or author website, do you have that? What would that website be?
Well, I have an author website that is a blog.
Great.
With a lot of information. And I also have a select franchise consulting website, which has information about working with me, but I am working right now with someone else to help me meld those together to create.
That would have been my first piece of advice, is put the two of them together. So when you sit down and you start thinking about the articles that you're writing on your blog, is it about who's your target audience? Who do you want to read this stuff? Is it women going into business? Is it young people? Is it teachers going into business? Who's your target audience? Who's the group that you really want?
Executives.
What sort of executives?
The ones that are getting closer to retirement and want to do something on their own.
Great. Male, female, particular industry?
It doesn't matter to me.
Okay. Region?
I can do all over the US, but Ohio's good. Midwest.
Okay. Yeah, Midwest is probably better than just Ohio. Okay. See, what I'm doing here is I'm starting to narrow down your target audience.
Sure.
Okay, because it's in the wide space of the internet. The hardest thing to do is to win everybody.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, if you're going to win, you got to win a group. So if I was the franchise consultant that women executives who want it, or male, you've got to sort of niche yourself. Who is it that should talk to Trish? Who are the people that really should be doing business with you? And is it people buying yogurt shops? What's the business you love recommending? Is that a way of niching yourself down? You've got to pick a group though and say, this is the group that I want to do business with. Not everybody, not this, not that. I don't want young families coming in because that's not my group. Or, do you know what I mean? You've got to get real clear on who it is. And if I could say, you've got to name it. I'm Trish Benedik. I am the franchise consultant for this group.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, make it easier to target.
Yeah, you've got to have a target. So if I am searching for, and I just keep throwing out yoga shops, I don't know why, it just came to mind earlier. But if I'm searching for a yoga shop, the franchise consultant in the world, the most knowledgeable franchise consultant in the world on yoga shops is Trish Benedik. If you want to buy a yogurt shop or an ice cream shop, this is the person you have to go to. I can tell you which franchise suits you perfectly based on your budget, based on your personality, based on. When in business, you try and be all things to all people, you end up being nothing to nobody. So, and in marketing terms, it's impossible to be all things to all people.
Yes.
Unless you have the budget. If you are Coca-Cola, you might have a budget big enough. If you are McDonald's, you might have a budget big enough.
Right.
But I doubt that that's the case. So what we want to do is sit down and say, where do you have the win? So give me some ideas. Where do you think that would be? Where, if I was to name you as a personal consultant in franchising, in what group, for who is it, or for what type of business, what would it be?
I like education franchises, tutoring, and anything that has to do with childcare, those kind of franchises. I also like, on the opposite spectrum, senior care. I've seen a lot of people do really well with those. I also like, well, I don't want to make it too much, like handyman or home investors or those kind of type of franchises.
Great. Now we're getting too broad. So
yeah,
out of those few categories, which one do you like more? Now, you don't have to pick a category of franchise. You can pick a category of person. Is there a particular type of person that buys all three of those types of franchises?
Particular type of person?
Yeah. See, if I said, senior care, tutoring franchises, and the handyman type, what is the common buyer of that group? What is the common buyer?
There isn't one.
Okay.
Unless they're in real estate.
So, but this is my point.
Maybe.
If you want to become known as something, you got to become known as that. If you want people coming to you, you can't just be another franchise consultant. You got to be Trish the consultant.
Got it.
Okay, so you got to narrow that down so that there is a reason to come to you.
Okay.
You know, your background in teaching leads me to believe that there's probably a great structure for you to be in that tutoring education space. That could be phenomenal. So start doing some research. Is there any franchise consultant out there that specializes in education franchises? If not, great, become that person. Use your book, use your knowledge, use your background. All of your articles have to be why teachers make great tutoring franchisees, why you should leap out of high school, how you can go part-time running your own franchise as an educator, as a teacher. So that way, when they're looking it up, if I'm in Ohio and I'm looking up how to be a part-time teaching business, boom, up comes your article.
Right.
You got to remember, people are searching. They're searching all the time. One of the craziest things about marketing is that people go and do all of this social media marketing and forget to do stuff for people that are already searching.
Right.
The people that are already searching are the ones we want. So how do we get to them?
Right.
So I want to hit on a third area for you here today. First, we looked at your sales. Got to get much more. You got to get on the numbers for sales. You just got to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Got to get them to that own your own business. Because I've found in franchising, the first sale you have to make to someone is own your own business. If they are not committed to owning their own business, we don't even go into the second phase. Second is you got to want to be in a franchise. You've got to, if you don't want to be in a franchise, I don't care what, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Third is you got to sell the industry that they're going into.
Right.
So if they're going into XYZ industry, you got to sell that. Fourth is you got to sell the particular company you're recommending. Okay, that particular company you got to sell. And fifth, you got to sell the team on that particular company that you're recommending, the actual human beings that are going to be joining. So you got 5 levels of sale there in franchising, and it's that's why franchising is it's a tough market, but that's again why it's lucrative. So keep that in mind. So I'm going to get down to this thing called building a business rather than a hobby. Something that you don't want to be coached on today, but you're going to, Trish. When is it that you're going to decide to turn your business into an actual business rather than a hobby?
I decided last year, but
Yeah.
It's just taken a long time getting there.
I've noticed. I've read through all your questionnaire and I'm sitting there going, dang, someone needs to make a decision at some point.
I know.
So when you sit there and you start thinking about the challenge that you have of getting prospects to commit to their own business, any thoughts of where that might come from, Trish?
I don't know. Well, I think I have depended a lot on the franchisor to convince the person that franchise is right for them. So I kind of, once I send them to the franchisor, just kind of keep tabs on the person, but I try not to sell, I guess.
You're in the business of sales. You got to get comfortable with being in the business of sales. Either that or get out of the business of sales and go do something totally different. Go and buy one of them tutoring franchises you were mentioning and go do tutoring, all right? Go do that. Or go and do one of the home health business, the senior care things. Because see, my point is, you can dodge and try and say, I prefer to be more consultative. I prefer to be all this. Listen, when it comes down to it, you're in the sales business. And you got to get comfortable with being in the sales business and be very happy to be in the sales business. Because here's the thing. Some people need to be sold on having a better life than they have right now. Some people need to be sold on eating healthy. Some people need to be sold on working out properly.
Right.
Just because I'm selling it to you doesn't make it bad for you. In fact, sometimes the best thing I can do is sell people on it. Like for me with business coaching, I know for a fact that if I don't coach a business or one of my team doesn't coach a business, they have a 1 in 5 chance of failing in the next 2 years. In the next year. If we don't get them in 2 years, they have a 2 out of 5 chance. 3 years, 3 out of 5. I mean, if we don't get them, we know they're gone. So we sell them pretty dang hard because we know it's better for them.
Okay. Gotcha.
So if you had a young person that you were teaching in high school and they were taking drugs, would you sell them on the concept of not taking drugs?
I would try. Definitely.
How hard would you try?
Well, yeah, I would try really hard. I think it's horrible.
Because their life depends on it, right?
Right.
Okay. So when someone's going to get into business for themselves, how hard would you sell them on it?
Depends on what their situation is.
Why? See, I'll sell them super hard. You know why? I've never met anyone that's gone into business yet that hated the decision. They might have said, I didn't work hard enough, or I didn't do that, and therefore I didn't succeed. But I personally think that being in business for yourself is the best decision anyone could ever make.
So do I.
So sell them on it.
Okay. Sell
them on that concept. In fact, if you go and take a look, there was one of my podcasts. It's on YouTube. It's everywhere. It's about why you should be an entrepreneur, not an employee. Play that for some of the people that have watched you in the past or have spoken to you in the past. Might reignite a few of them, but we'll see.
Okay, I'll do that.
See, Trish, your business is not a complex one, but it is a numbers-based business like the rest of ours. Every business ends up being a set of numbers, and these are the numbers we got to follow, and these are the numbers we got to do. And if you put in X numbers and you get out Y numbers, it's no more complex than that. You know your conversion rate. You've shown me here what your numbers are. X in, Y out. No more complex. But when you go to build it as a business, you'll start building a team. You'll start building your employees. You'll start building someone to do those first phone calls for you. In our organization, we call them an 8-toucher. There's 8 ways they touch a client to get the first meeting set up. And then.
8 ways, huh?
8 different ways of touching them right in the beginning. Everything from social media to texting to emailing to phone calling to leaving voicemail, you name it. We try it because you spend a lot of money getting that lead to contact you, or getting that lead, or getting them through whether you've bought them or whether you've created it yourself. So you got to make sure you take advantage of that.
Do you think it's a disadvantage if I am calling rather than someone else?
No, not at all. Not at all. Now, I'll tell you why it's a disadvantage to you. You hate the phone.
Well, I didn't.
Yeah.
Till I got,
but see, that's
so
the thing.
many and so many didn't answer.
Yeah, but that's the game.
I know.
That is what the business is that you are in. The business that you are in is dial 100 times to reach 6.
Yeah.
And you got to get happy with that. Another one didn't answer. I'm closer to the one that does. I remember that one of my earliest mentors in sales, he literally, like these old phones, right? He literally taped my hand to the phone with tape. Wrapped it all around there. And he said, I am not taking that off. You cannot do it until you've got 20 appointments set. Once you got 20 appointments set, we'll take that off. I'm like, what if I need to go to the bathroom or something? And it wasn't like, these days you can just unclip the handle from it. Nope. Back then it was a full on hard thing. For me to take it, I had to take the entire phone and I had to rip the dang thing out of the wall. So, he made me learn to love that phone and made me learn to love doing the numbers. Maybe that's your thing. Other questions from you, Trish, before we finish up here today?
What's your close rate?
I haven't done franchise sales in a long time. My team is about 1 in 20.
Wow.
1 in 20 to 1 in 25, depending upon the salesperson.
Do you think sometimes it's the qualifying phase that sometimes I try to qualify people too much or spend too much time qualifying people?
We never try and qualify them. We let them qualify themselves.
Okay.
See, the thing about sales is this: if you go into that whole qualifying thing is, do you qualify to buy from me or do you qualify to buy? Hey, they don't even want to buy yet. Don't qualify someone who doesn't want to buy. Once they've worked out they want to buy, it's amazing because people are always like, well, I don't think they have the money. Listen, if they love it and they really, really, really want to do it, they will find a way to get grandma or auntie or Bob, the next door neighbor, to lend them the money to do it. So no, we don't bother with the qualifying stuff. They'll qualify themselves.
You have them fill out information, I'm sure.
Yeah, at some point, once we've got them convinced they're actually excited by it.
Okay.
It's hard to get people to fill in information before they're excited. Yeah, before I talk to you, you need to fill in these 72 pages. Good, I'm not talking to you. Save me another phone call.
Well, I mean, that's our process is like phone call, ask them to fill out just a little form with some information so we know where they're looking.
But get me excited first, though. Get me excited. What percentage are filling in that form for you right now, that little form? What percentage of the people you speak to are filling that in?
Oh, it depends.
Okay.
Probably if I'm only getting 30% answering the phone.
Yeah, but out of those 30%, what percentage that you speak to actually fill in that form?
Probably 15.
Okay, so they're not excited.
Okay.
You just talked them out of going into franchising. You talked 85% of people out of going into franchising with your process.
So the process should be more introduction.
You love talking to people. You've said it to me multiple times. You love talking with people. You love getting to know people.
I do.
Great. So go and have a coffee with them.
Well, not if they're in another state.
Well, then get on a phone call. Have a virtual coffee with them.
Okay.
Get on a Skype, a Zoom call. Get on something and actually get to know these people. Build trust first. They're going to know, like, and trust you before they're going to fill out any forms for you. Get to know them.
Well, that helps.
Be interested. Be interested in them. Get to know them. You know, we tell everyone that we ever speak to around franchising very clearly, listen, I'm not even sure business ownership is for you. First thing you're going to do is work out if it's right for you, based on your personality, based on all the things you want. Is it even right for you?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, yeah, I agree with that, definitely.
So get to know people, Trish. Spend time getting to know them. Let them get to know you. Then worry about what business they're going to look at or what forms they got to fill in and all that sort of stuff. Until I know you, until I know you and I'm excited, why would I fill in a form for you?
Well, because it helps us help them determine what would be a good fit for them.
You don't even know the person. Get to know them. Find out until you know their dog's name, you're not allowed to ask them to fill in a form. Don't ask their dog's name as the first question either. You got to know who their family is, what sport they like. You got to know all these sorts of things. What family members have owned a business before? What made you think of owning your own business? You know, why franchising? Why not just go it on your own? You know, what have you done? All these things. You got to get to know people. Cannot recommend sell if you don't get to know them first.
Okay.
I'm going to enjoy listening on some of those calls, Trish. Hopefully you record a few and send them to me, because that'll be much more fun calls than trying to see. Sales is about the prospect, not the process.
Right. Okay.
It seems to me you've gotten bogged down in the process rather than focus on the prospect. One of the best sales guys I ever had in franchise, his name was Trevor. Trevor was a chain smoker. Trevor would be on his cell phone. He would go outside and he would not get off the phone for 2 hours with a prospect on their first phone call.
Wow.
First ever connection. They'd be on the phone for an hour, 2 hours. Because he's just getting to know the person. Prospect, not process.
Okay.
Trish, thank you for your time today. I hope this has been valuable for you, and I look forward to seeing some new results coming your way.
All right. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.